Hey, hi, hello there, and welcome back to Formula Amateur, where today we'll be talking about all of the struggles and we'll divide them by engine supplier. So get ready because there are some issues on the grid. So we'll start off alphabetically, and so in first it will be Audi, and Audi has been struggling to maintain a reliable, stable car. So sometimes they're doing well, they're in the top 10, and sometimes they're just nowhere to be found. They're all over the place in terms of the timesheets. It's really about finding that consistency that they are struggling with, because they're the only ones with the Audi engine as well. They don't have anyone to compare themselves to, and it's very new to them. So it is very much a time for them to learn everything that they can, and obviously it's early days and everyone is struggling, so that's also advantageous to them. But consistency for them has been quite the struggle. It's difficult to say that Ferrari has struggles. For Cadillac, for example, it's a struggle because they're new, so they're a completely new team. They weren't a team before, so they want to learn as much as possible, and with a new engine, before they become their own engine supplier, they have the Ferrari engine, so they are using this as a learning opportunity as well. But in terms of the other teams, with Haas, it feels like Ollie Behrman is getting a grasp of this engine, but Ocon seems to be sort of up and down. So so there's a bit of concern there about his consistency. And then with Ferrari, they have great takeoffs when the 5 green lights head off, but they struggle to maintain that in order to catch up with Mercedes. They're always fighting Mercedes, but in the end they somehow managed to drop back, and in the end it's always Mercedes that keeps having the results that everyone else wants to have. So it's about unlocking that potential for the long term, because having an effective engine for half the race isn't ideal. You want it to be you want it to be there for you the entire race and through all the sessions. Now, everyone thought that Red Bull are sandbagging and that's why they appear to be slow, but in actual fact they are not. Both the Red Bulls are close to each other, which is good, because that means that suddenly there's someone that can be comparable to Max Verstappen. But because Max Verstappen is not getting the results that he wants to get, it shows that there is a big issue with the car, because he is constantly at the bottom range of the top 10, if that sometimes, and he is not a happy bunny either. It seems like Racing Bulls have managed to work things out for themselves, but Red Bull themselves are struggling to work out what's going on. Obviously, new engine supplier, they have never used Ford. Ford hasn't been in the game for a very long time for Formula One, and so it's very much a learning curve, especially with new regulations as well. But there was a lot of hype about Ford, and seeing Max Verstappen be so down about his own results, and without, it seems like there is no way of fixing it at the moment, is quite the turnaround compared to the years past when he was winning races. Now, it wouldn't be a conversation about engine suppliers if it wasn't for the fact that Honda are probably the biggest question mark here. And the reason why is because what happened with Honda, they had successful years with Red Bull, but then Honda decided to leave Formula One and they weren't going to come back. But then Aston Martin hired them to be their engine supplier. But by that time, all the people that were the masters of the Honda engine, we know of Red Bull, and their successors had left and went to different places. They closed the factory, and then suddenly, this resurgence of, oh, actually Honda's not going anywhere. They had to hire new people, and a lot of these people aren't the same people that originally built the good Honda engine that we know of from the past. So now it looks like the dream of being a three-time world champion is not looking bright for Alonso, because this engine is absolutely nowhere. They are, every single time that there's a qualifying session or a practice session or a race of any kind, they are always in the bottom. They are either 21st or 22nd, or they're 19th and 18th. They swap between with Williams and with Cadillac. They're always at the bottom, and it's just heartbreaking to see that that this is happening. Obviously, it's not just the engine, but it seems like the engine is one of the biggest issues, especially with the added issue of vibrations that are causing potential issues with nerve damage. So there's a whole lot of issues going on with that Honda engine and with Aston Martin. Now, Mercedes is also another strange one, because there's the obvious fact that Mercedes themselves are loving what they're having at the moment. They, seeing as them with HPP built the engine, they know exactly what to do with it to get the best out of it. But their customer teams, however, McLaren seem to slowly be unlocking their potential, and Pierre Gasly seems to be on it as well, like slowly getting better and better. We're constantly seeing him in the top 10, but with Alpine, like the other half of the Alpine garage, less so, but they are on the up, but just slower than McLaren. And Williams are absolutely nowhere, as I mentioned. They are swapping places with Aston Martin and Cadillac, and especially with the hype that was around Williams, that they're going to be a great team because of all the successes they had, how many points they had. They ended up 5th in the championship last year, to suddenly fall down completely. It's quite drastic, and I think part of the issue is that somewhere between building the engine and supplying the engine, someone just decided that this is a secret only worth having between HPP and Mercedes, and everyone else has to figure out themselves. We'll put them on customer mode, and we will only unlock the potential. You'll show you the true potential of this engine only if you are Mercedes, and no one else can figure this out. So a lot of struggles there as well. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Formula Amateur. Don't forget that this is a race weekend, so there will be a race rundown on Monday. We'll be talking all about everything that went down in China with Formula One and Formula One Academy, so get excited for that. Don't forget to check out my lovely colleagues on the Be The Change Media Network. Don't forget to check out BeTheChangeMediaNetwork.com for all of your podcasting, video and blog needs. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Goodbye.